Welcome to It's All Mental Podcast. My name is Asia, and today we have another episode coming in with a special guest with us. You've seen her before, but today we are having a different topic that we want to bring to your audience, and we are hoping that you're having a very good day. Today's topic, we are going to talk about the 16 days of activism. To someone who's out there, you may not know them, but today we are going to dissect more into them. But before that, we want to hear from our guest to say hello to the audience who are watching us so that we can dive right into the conversation for today. Lydia, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Asiat. And to our viewers and listeners, my name is Lydia Nalukwago. I'm glad to be back on It's All Mental.
You are so much welcome, Lydia. To other people who have been following us, we really want to appreciate you for the following. Keep following us on this podcast, and we hope that we are going to bring the best of the conversations that you can get. And today's conversation is more about 16 days of activism, and it's really a topic that many of us may not know about, but may be curious to find out more about it. Lydia, to someone who doesn't know about 16 days of activism, what do you think they need to know about it?
Thank you so much, Asiat. In simple terms, 16 days of activism, they're just 16 days. It's a global campaign that is intended to voice out and advocate for ending violence against women and girls globally. This is a campaign that runs from 25th of November, and there are a number of activities that run throughout those 16 days up to 10th of December. So within the 16 days, we run multiple activities that we intend to see that the children, the women and the girls, and even those who are undergoing violence, their voices are heard and their needs are met through the campaigns. So this year, the Unite agenda of ending violence against women and girls is focusing on ending digital violence.
So this year's focus is more on digital violence.
On ending digital violence of women and girls. That is the campaign. That's where all efforts have been put to ensure that we address the ongoing digital violence of the women and girls.
Before we dive into the theme of the year right now, Lydia, to someone who's watching us who doesn't know more about the different forms of violence, gender-based violence, could you try to dive more into those before we get into the digital violence?
Yes, to begin with, I would like to let people know that violence is an intended way of causing harm to a person. So the forms of violence that people have undergone or experienced, one of it is physical violence, where someone may intend to beat you up, pierce you, or do anything on your body that can cause harm.
Physically?
Yes, physically on your body. It may also take a form of emotional or psychological violence, abusing you, torturing you psychologically on your mind, telling you those terrible words, doing things that are going to trigger your emotions or your mind to feel bad about yourself, to feel about how you look or how you're behaving. And then also it can take a form of the online violence that now is the topic that we are going to discuss about, the cyberbullying, the stalking, and all that kind of violence that comes online, maybe on social media, on phones, and any way that is digital. Those are the forms of violence that are existing apparently.
Okay, could you show us a little bit of more examples that have to do with the digital violence that we are talking about today, for someone who doesn't know, because we know about digitalization right now, because the world is going digital, but someone who doesn't know about these forms of digital violence, could you kindly let them know about it?
I think the most common one, before I even go into the technical ones, is I think apparently in Uganda we've seen many instances where people are sharing nudes, and these nudes have been shared in a non-consensual way, because it starts from partners or intimate partners having maybe a conversation just there in their bedrooms or in their secret places, and then before you know it, maybe they have a disagreement, and then the nudes are shared out there. That is non-consensual. It's violence, because as long as you've not consented with anybody to share out any information, whether it was a secret conversation. We've seen on several occasions on maybe WhatsApp or TikTok where people have had secret conversations and it's shared out there. We've seen on several occasions where we have women, especially those in the socialites, where their nudes have been shared. But it started from their secret place with their partner and it's shared out there. And when it is shared, the emotional well-being of that woman or that girl never remains the same. So those are the forms of violence. We've had cases where women are stalked. Someone calls you, someone follows you up on all your social media handles, someone hacks into even your emails. That is all cyber harassment. Someone hacks into all your accounts. You try to block, but they even go ahead and have others. Secret accounts, and they are following you up. That is all cyber harassment. It's all online violence. On top of that, for the case of Uganda, if you have heard of people who abuse each other on TikTok, they even hire others to bully others on TikTok. Some have even picked issues from big platforms, like from national televisions, and they go down to just level of TikTok to abuse each other. They collect people. They call them, is it YouTubers or what? Those who intend to abuse others. YouTubers, or what is the name they use?
The TikTokers.
There is another word they use where they gather. They even in Uganda, there is even an association of TikTokers. Mm-hmm. We don't have associations of people who are fighting against violence, but we have an association that is even strong. They even give awards of TikTokers. But when you go down and check on their accounts, what they do on TikTok is violating the rights of the women. There is one TikToker particularly I know is a gentleman whom I'll not mention names, how he has intentioned to abuse the girls he moves out with. And to the public, I think it's okay that he will pick on girls, be with them illegally because they don't go into a legal relationship, be with them, they have issues, then he starts telling them how he was behaving with them in bed, how they used to be. Like, I'm like, where is the regulations here in Uganda that how do they not stop this kind of gentle, or it's not actually a gentleman, individuals that they continuously abuse the women they share with intimately and they are on social media abusing them, and they continuously do it. So those are the kind of violences we're talking about. Or, as I conclude on this, is sometimes you find that people can have issues. We recently have had one of the prominent journalists, I think this is not a secret anymore because it was put out there on social media. They have had issues in their marriage, and it's all out there. I think it's not appropriate. I don't know how the woman feels about it. I also don't know how the man feels about it, because even people who don't know about what is happening in their relationship
now they know.
Had a lot to say on what they don't know, but even others know. So it impacts on the well-being of both that couple. Yes. I don't know how they are, but just because they want to keep it up. But what I know, as us who are doing mental health, we know it is not sitting well with them right now.
I can imagine.
Yes.
So, Lydia, on that perspective, you've talked about girls.
Yeah.
Why do you think this conversation is more related to girls and not men? Don't men also get to face the challenges that have to do with digital violence? Is it only women and girls who are, affected by this kind of situation?
And the reason as to why even violence mostly happens to girls and women,
And women.
is not like the campaign is on girls and women, not because the boys and men are not undergoing violence, but we have a vulnerability analysis. With the vulnerability analysis that was done globally, you realize that the women and the girls
Are most
are
affected.
most affected and are the most vulnerable. One, why? The gender stereotypes. You find that the girls and the women, because of the gender perspective of how society perceives the women are more exposed to violence as compared to their male
Counterparts.
and boys counterparts of the other side. So that's why you find that the exposure of violence is more to the women and girls
Than it is to the
and
men.
than it is to the other side. And then also, when you look at the policies we have, the legislation we have, especially in our country, it has not really come out strongly to enforce the violence that is happening on media. Because I've not heard in any way since I started understanding that people spread out the nudes that any person has been made accountable to sharing the nudes of people. We know of some celebrities who are well known where their nudes were shared. We know of so many women, so many girls also who have been maybe gang defiled, and women who have been gang raped, and videos have been shared out there. But have you even ever heard that the people, because for example the regulators can know the source that this is coming from, either from this account, from this number, but no person has been brought to book.
That these are the people who are spreading this kind of news.
Exactly. So then there is the other thing is that the girls and the women, from nowhere, you might find yourself just out there in public. People are talking about what you have done, what you know, and what you actually don't know. We had a conversation prior, and we're talking about issues to do with Photoshop.
Yes.
Someone can easily, because of technology, even here we are here because of technology. Because of technology, you might find yourself on a body that is not yours, but the face is yours.
Yes.
But who has the power to regulate such kind of things? Because what I know, they can source the source of all those things that are being spread out there. So we all those things, we look at things, and the regulators, the system is looking at all these things happening. But remember, who is endangered is the vulnerable girl and the woman who is the victim and the center of all this that is happening, because some other people are getting money out of it. Leave alone that. Sexual videos that are going around, the videos they play, who are the most, the people who participate most are the women. Because of money, because of the economic power. They tell them that you do this, we're gonna give you money. Women, we've had stories where women are told, you play, you have sex with an animal to get money. Recently, we know the lady who shared a story how she was it's not making love. It's sex with a dog. A few days later,
Before you know it, she passed on.
Yes. But of course, her causes of death, nobody came out to explain, but it was after her explaining her story. Those are things.
You can imagine.
Those are things that, to us as women, when you're out there and you're looking at all the things happening to a fellow woman, and you're like, am I safe? We are all in the same space. Is it safe for me? Is it safe for my girl?
Children.
Is it safe for those rural women, even who are not exposed? At least maybe there are women who are exposed, like the land, but also there are those who are land who are also not exposed.
Yes.
But there are also those, the land, who cannot even come out and speak. But even when you come out and speak, is there help? Are you going to be helped? Are you going to be listened to? So there are so many things around the violence of women. That's why we have to come out. We really need to come out and advocate for this, because things are happening in houses. People don't come out to speak. The girls who work in our homes as house helps, a lot is happening.
Yes.
Probably they're being sexually abused by maybe their bosses, by maybe their neighbors, by a lot of things are happening. But still, we're saying that not only the women and girls, even the boys, but the vulnerability scale is more drawn to the women and girls.
Yes, you can imagine. So whoever is watching us, I think they should look out for these kinds of incidences in terms of their children, the girls, so that they can be able to know exactly how to be able to protect them in such incidences. So looking forward, because you've talked about how mental health related issues can be escalated with this kind of digital violence. Could you mention a few of the things that could be related in terms of mental health that have to do with this digital violence? How has it affected people in the aspect of mental health?
Yeah, so in the aspect of mental health, to begin with, there's social isolation. There is no woman or girl that has been victim of social media harassment that will remain the same. It comes over time that these people now relate back with the others. Many of them isolate themselves from the rest, and you know what isolation comes with. Isolation will actually trigger so many other mental health issues. It may trigger depression, little by little, because this person is not talking with anybody. They are deep down hurt. And on top of triggering depression, and of course, suicidal thoughts are going to come, ideations, and suicide definitely is triggered by depression. One thing leads to another, just because something has happened. And another thing that is going to happen, their esteem is going to be lowered. They'll never come out like how they used to be. Because first of all, they know my nudes are out there.
Now everyone knows.
Everyone knows how I am. Everyone knows what I did. Everyone knows what I used to do. Remember, sometimes it started from that secret place with your intimate person. Or you were even forced, because some are coerced to go into those kind of behaviors. They are coerced and they are forced that if you don't do this, I would say maybe they are on gunpoint, but of course not on gunpoint, but they are intimidated that if you do not participate into this activity, your video is going to be out there. Yet their intention was still to spread the video. So they get their confidence, their esteem is lowered, and after their esteem is lowered, they are going to live in excessive fear. And excessive fear is what? Is anxiety. The person is going to be all the time fearing, all the time
on the edge,
like
they don't know what is going to happen.
They don't know what is going to happen.
Nervous.
And you know, living in that situation of uncertainty, what is it going to cause? It is even going to trigger other things that happened, escalating post-traumatic stress disorder. So you've seen the series of how I'm telling you that this can lead to the other. One thing leads to the other, one thing leads to the other. And before you know it, we all know the extreme of mental health or mental distress is death. The extreme of the severity of any mental disorder, if not managed well, is death. So what do we have to say about the cyber harassment and bullying is to ensure that we have to campaign to stop it.
Yes.
It's more to looking at preventing it than responding, because sometimes responding is too late when the person's mental well-being has been distorted.
Okay, so for someone who is watching us, and a girl or a woman who is watching us, because we are targeting this 16 days of activism towards the girls and women, what should they do immediately they get to realize that they are being threatened, they are being abused online by either their fellow women or even men who are abusing them in that regard?
I think some of the key things that these people who are being abused need to do. One thing is to report. If anything of that sort, maybe there is stalking, someone is calling you, you have lines that you don't understand, report. But who are you going to report to? Report to the person you trust most. Because the first reporting contact for any person, for any girl, young girl out there, for any woman, is the person you trust. If you don't have anyone you trust, the information might just stay there.
Most especially the guardians.
The guardians. So if this child has grown, for example, a young girl is in a safe environment, the safe environment should start from home. So where to report is either the parents, if they have the parents, if they have the guardians, you report to them. If it is at school, it can even happen at school, especially children who are in boarding sections, especially children, maybe the girls, the young girls who are at the universities and even secondary, they report to the person they trust most at school. But if they also feel they're not safe at school or the universities, they can still seek for support elsewhere. I don't know how much police has helped in this, but police is also a point where to report. We have the Child and Family Protection Unit that is actually pointed to this. It is their mandate, but also the CID department, because that is a criminal offense.
Yes.
They have to investigate. Those are the points to report the cases. But no one will report if they are not aware.
So the first thing is
being aware. And how will they be aware? We should use social media or online platforms to
like
learn.
this.
To learn. They need to learn. They need to educate themselves that what do I do when I face this kind of challenge? But also, us who have, we have this kind of podcast to create awareness. Because if there is no awareness about digital literacy, everything is going to be in a mess. Something like we've been talking about, something that started on now. Hi, Asiat. How are you?
How are things going?
Please, how are things going? Please, can you share with me?
This picture.
Just take a selfie. From us taking a selfie. Do this, do that. Why would you even go ahead to
take that kind of picture in the first instance?
Because you're not aware. So, because we are usually bullied of this thing of this person is in love with me, maybe we are dating and doing that. But I don't think, however much you may be as close to that person, I tell women and girls, please don't share that picture. Keep it to yourself. That is even a private business. It's a private part. Why are you sharing it publicly? The moment you share it from yourself to another person, you've made it public. Even if it's true, you've made it public. So keep it to you. If it is the reason that relationship is breaking because you've not shared, let it go. Let it go. You cannot keep that relationship when your dignity is not minded about. Because in any form of relationship, be it a business relationship, be it a work relationship, dignity is very important. If somebody cannot maintain or keep your dignity, please, that relationship is not worth maintaining. So dignity and respect
is very important.
It's very important. And it is a pertinent right for someone's dignity and respect to be protected. So if that is not protected, you've lost it. You've lost it.
So it should be that it should begin from all points of life, in terms of the guardians, in terms of the schools, in terms of people in the implementing organizations, to look out and educate people in terms of digital usage.
Yes, digital usage is very, very important. And additionally to that is that the communities also need to come up and protect their own, because there is a lot of globalization going on, and there is a lot of technology advancing here and there. I think some of these policies that we come up, we have a policy on on what? On cyber harassment.
Yes.
The policies that are coming up, it started in a room like this one. But there are also maybe bylaws that can start in a room, in a house. One is the parents, they have to take responsibility. Why give a child a phone and the child can access anything on their phone? Maybe you give them a phone for communication. You can still give the analog phone for communication. Not for them to go on the phone to download whatever. Internet is everywhere these days, especially homes in Kampala. They have really made it like, no. The children need to be regulated also, even on what they watch, even at home, on the channels. Are parents even observing what the children are watching? You get it?
Yes.
So, regulations have to start from home before we call the community or the community leaders, before we call even the government. At home, because the family is the smallest unit, what have you done as a family person, as a family member? What have you done to control these children? Because the values you pick at home, you can pick them on even when you go to your workplace, you go to your schools, because you've been really, there are strong values you cherish right from home. So the parents have a role to play, the caregivers have a role to play with the young girls, with the boys right from home. Then from there, as we advocate for policies, it would be easier when these policies are in place, like enacting them. Yes, we have the policy on cyber harassment, but how effective is it?
How are we seeing people being put to book?
We seeing people being put to book? We all know. Today I've read a report. It's very embarrassing. It was a TikTok report where they are saying that from the last 3 months, Uganda has been ranked amongst the 30th countries in the whole world to have the TikTok accounts, about 1.5 million accounts being banned because of having bad content containing nudity.
You can imagine.
But we have a regulating authority in Uganda. Why? Because
How
initially
it
was Kenya, which around 450,000 accounts were banned. And the writer still in that report says Uganda has drafted Kenya, which was 450,000. But Uganda is now 1.5 million accounts have been banned on TikTok just because they are having bad content on nudity. But who are in those nudes? The women. Who are in those nudes? The women who are spreading. Probably the other male counterparts are the ones sharing the nudes. But who has been brought to book? Tell me anywhere that these people were taken to police because they shared nude photos. They even tell you, you do anything, we are going to put the video out there. So
they're even making money out of it.
Definitely, they're making money. Remember, as you put this, you get big following, you get so many views, you get many likes. I am on TikTok. I'm on TikTok doing business, but I've never been paid, but there are people who are being paid. Probably they're looking forward to that payment, but they're putting bad content
on another person's cost.
At the expense of another person. At the expense of the one whose mental well-being, at the expense of one whose dignity, at the expense of one whose job, because many have lost jobs. Many have lost their relationships. Many have lost themselves. They have lost their lives even because of that. First of all, on online, many people have even picked on partners. We've had stories where someone, they got each other on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. Before you know it, they meet up. Before you know it, the other person kills the other person. But when you follow the story how they met, it was on social media. But this, because this person has been manipulated and they have shared a lot, they think because they talk every day on maybe in Instagram, on TikTok, on maybe WhatsApp, they have really never met each other physically. This person may think they know each other very much. You don't even know the person, you don't know the background, you don't know the history of that person, you don't know whether this person has a criminal history.
Record.
Like, then you get with that person, get into the relationship, it falls apart so quickly, or one of you loses life because it started where? Online.
So in this kind of era where we are talking about the theme of this year of looking at digital violence against women and girls, right now, to the people who are operating in these kinds of, for example, you talked about UCC, they are regulating companies, there is government. What better advice would you want them to do in these 16 days of activism towards this kind of violence that we are seeing online? And also looking at the businesses, the companies that are owning these social media platforms, what do you think is a better way they can be able to regulate on the digital use and how people can be in position to interface with it, but in a better way?
First of all, we have also to acknowledge that we've made a shift. We've made a shift in everything that we are doing. So we've shifted from the analog to the digital,
Yes.
which you really need to embrace. That now that we have made a shift, and this shift should be taken positively, not negatively, that the regulators or the institutions that have the mandate to control, they need to enforce proper values or usage on the digital platforms. Good enough here, for example, in Uganda, we have UCC. UCC has the higher mandate of controlling how people are using all the digital platforms, whether on TV, on radio, on phones and all that. It's their mandate, anything concerning communication. So one is enact the laws. If they are there, they need to enforce them. If you are saying that, okay, we have a policy on cyber harassment, there are clauses below it. All those clauses need to be reinforced. And it should be within, as we are managing cases, we usually do the 24-hour system, then we have the 72-hour system. This should be the same with also enacting these laws. These people need to be brought to book. They need to put strong measures of controlling people or platforms who are violating the rights of the women and the girls and even others, because even the men are also abused. But they really need to enforce this. When they do that, they need to use languages that are very clear, because we have these people in the rural areas. Information is shared out there on platform, but they probably don't know what is going on. Yes. So let's embrace using the local languages in all aspects to spread this information, but also use the accessible modes of transferring the information through SMS, because some may not access internet. But at least when a message goes on SMS, like how they say these messages that go out for Airtel, for MTN, the women can be able to see that. Please don't share your photo with anyone in their language that they really, really, really understand. Then
for government, basically it's policy strengthening and enforcement. The government needs to enforce the policy on cyber harassment to ensure, and even put other clauses, because I've not seen where they are saying that if you share a nude, the penal code is this. The penal code is not so clear as well. The penal code needs to be very clear out there within that policy. To the person who shares, the person who also take
the person who shares mostly.
And so of the person who takes, because it's also supposed to look at me who is taking this
Yes,
video
the
in the
person
first
who is
place.
taking and the person who shares.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And what about when we come, because you talked about how community should be in position to embrace and understand and support the people or the girls and women in this kind of situation. From where you're working, what kind of things do you think the community members could be able to do in this aspect?
The communities, first of all, the easiest way is for them in partnership with the actors. When the communities partner with the actors, or the actors to partner with the communities, one, there's going to be information sharing, giving them information on how to safeguard the women and girls can safeguard themselves from cyber harassment, but also reporting becomes easier. That if something happens, the network on reporting becomes easier. Then the management of such cases becomes easier because there is community engagement, there is community involvement, and everyone gets on board because they are part of the problem. Becomes the one woman, all girls problem should be the entire community's problem, because if it has happened to one woman or to one girl, it can easily
Happen to
everyone. So the community needs to partner with the other actors, but also to embrace it as their problem, to fight it.
Yes, you've shared quite a lot of information, Lydia, and I think we can go on and on
Yeah,
about
sure.
this conversation of the 16 days of activism. So now, to our viewer, as we are closing this episode today, who has learned about the 16 days of activism and the theme that we've had this year, which kind of words would you want to leave with them? What can they do in their own aspect? The girls, the women who are watching us, what can they do on their end? Because you've talked about government, the community members, the different actors, but you've not talked about the girls themselves and the women. Which last words would you want to leave to them so that they can keep that in mind and they also be part of the 16 days of activism?
Well, thank you so much, Asiat, and for the opportunity to share this. And to the girl out there and to the woman out there, first of all, they need to embrace and appreciate themselves, that they are a gift, and it's very important to be a woman. It's powerful to be a woman. It's powerful to be a girl. Embrace the girl period, the girl season. Embrace the woman season. However, your dignity and respect is very key. Let you not be lied that if you share this, you'll get this. If you share this, you'll get this. You've not thought about yourself. Your dignity is very paramount, but also don't feel shy to report anything that has been done against your will. Non-consensual sharing of information about yourself with something you've shared with your intimate partner is criminal. So don't fear, don't shy about it, but please safeguard yourself in a way that you will wish you're safeguarding a treasure. Because yourself, you're a treasure, you need to safeguard yourself. The women, safeguard your children, the girl child, even the fathers, please protect those young girls. The fathers, the men, protect the women you put forward as the women closest to your hearts and your sisters, and protect them, because cyber harassment is real, and mostly those who are affected are the girls and the women. But we still cherish ourselves as one of the most important species in this world.
Okay, as we are winding up, thank you, Lydia, for this wonderful conversation. And I believe to everyone who has been watching us, there is one thing or two that you've learned from today's conversation. And to the women that we are emphasizing more about in this episode, we want to call upon you to report these kinds of incidences and also get to learn on the better ways of using social media and be able to promote and protect yourselves against digital violence. And to everyone who is listening to us, you can share a few things that you've noticed in your communities, the things that you have been able to experience, your friends, so that any other person who has not been able to hear about this kind of conversation, they can be able to hear about it from you, and we can all learn in one way or another. We are here to learn, relearn, and unlearn. And It's All Mental Podcast has been so blessed to have Lydia today, and I have been your host, Asiat. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in other episodes. See you.